today. My name is Brian Manley, the Chief of Police here in Austin. I've got with me Ray Ariano, the Assistant City Manager. I've got Margaret Moore, the District Attorney, Rashid Yates from the Office of the Police Monitor, Commander Andy Michael, and Assistant Chief Justin Newsom. Earlier today at 10:35 a.m., the Austin Police Department was dispatched to a 911 call to a home in the 4000 block of Greenhill Place. The officers were en route to a disturbance. The caller reported at 10:36 that they heard a male and a female shouting. This caller then stayed on the line, and at 10:37 they stated they heard a male say that he had a gun and that he would use it. At 10:41, dispatch received a call from a different caller who stated that she had received a suicide notification from someone who lives in the home where we were being dispatched to. Our officer stayed online. First officer arrived on scene at 10:41, and at 10:42, the caller that was still online with 911 reported that they observed the suspect in this incident approaching the police officer with a knife in his hand, and that our officer had fired shots. This officer was wearing a body-worn camera, and this camera did capture the entire incident. I've had the opportunity to view the footage from the body-worn camera, and what is apparent at the initial stages of the investigation is that as our officer arrives on scene, he gets out of his vehicle, he walks up towards the residence, and as he's stepping towards the residence, the suspect comes out from the front porch and is walking down the walkway towards the sidewalk. Our officer at this point is heard yelling multiple times to drop it, put it down, giving multiple commands. The suspect does not appear to say anything to the officer, but continues to walk towards him, not heeding his commands to stop. Our officer, it appears from, again, the body-worn footage, begins to back up and retreat, steps back out into the street, and continues to backstep in the street while giving continued commands to drop it. The suspect, again, does not listen and continues to advance towards our officer, at which point our officer fired his weapon at the suspect. The suspect is struck, and he does go down right in the front of the residence at the street. The officers then approach. By this point, another officer had shown up. They approach, and what can be seen is removing a knife from I guess there's a knife at the hand of the suspect, and the officers then immediately go in to begin first aid. And it's at this point, too, that the officer was giving directions to the other officers that there is a victim down at the front doorstep. And what we do have is a victim of what appears to be from the initial call that we responded to that had suffered multiple stab wounds, and that subject was treated and transported to the hospital. The suspect in this incident that we first encountered is a 59-year-of-age white male, and the victim of the stabbing that took place that brought us out here today is a 69-year-old white male. The conditions we have so far is that the suspect in this incident is serious but stable. The victim of the stabbing is critical but stable, and both are being treated at an area hospital. Our officer involved in this incident has been with the Austin Police Department for 8 years. He is being placed on administrative duty, which is standard practice in an officer-involved shooting, and we have multiple investigations that are taking place here today. We're investigating the initial assault that took place between these two individuals, and then we're investigating the shooting as well, and that's being investigated by the Internal Affairs Division from an administrative standpoint, and we have the Special Investigations Unit, along with the District Attorney, is conducting an investigation as well into the officer's actions today. And with that, I will open it up for questions.
What is the relationship between the suspect and the victim? Is there any indication of what the stabbing resulted from?
That's part of the ongoing investigation.
Where and how many times was the victim stabbed, and how many shots were fired?
Again, that's all part of the ongoing investigation.
You said it was a suicide note. Was this suicide by cop?
You know, that's a term that gets used a lot, and we really don't know what the intention was here today. We do know that the suspect in this incident had sent a note to an individual that individual took as a suicidal note, and that's the information we have now. I've not seen the note, and again, our officer was put in a position where the subject was coming towards him with the knives and not listening to the commands that the officer was giving him to put the knife down, and ultimately fired his weapon.
Is there a history of calls at this address?
You know, we're so early on in the investigation, I'm not sure if we've got history at this address or not.
Was anyone else inside the residence or home at the time?
Not that I'm aware of.
You said that they heard a woman shouting. Where does that come into play?
Well, again, that's what the caller reported, that they heard a male and a female shouting, and so it may have been that that they just heard the individual shouting and mistakenly believed one was a female, but I don't know.
And someone called in and said that prior he had sent a suicide note. Is that what you're saying?
So what happened is, and it's within seconds on the CAT dispatch sheet where we log in all the calls that take place, that as the officer had come on scene and was letting dispatch know that he was out on the suspect, someone had called into the 911 center saying that they had received an email from the suspect in this case that they believed to be a suicidal note.
Last question.
What do you make of two police involved incidents in such a short time?
You know, we're a major metropolitan city. We have gone many months without having one, and that's just how they are. There's no rhyme or reason or sequence to these things. I think it's very unfortunate that here we are yet again, just a couple days after we were talking to you about, you know, a tragic incident that took place down in Central Austin where someone lost their life. And again, there's no indication that anything led to either of these that is common or is connected.
What's the takeaway for the public? How could this have ended differently?
You know, I don't know about a takeaway for the public and how this could have ended differently, but, you know, I'll take the opportunity just to remind everyone that as we go into the holiday season, you know, this is a time where some folks, they suffer from, whether it be depression or something, and if you know someone that's in that condition, reach out to them, make a connection with them. Or if you're concerned that they're not in a good spot, then connect them with resources. Again, that is not an indication that has anything to do with what happened out here today, but it's worth noting. Thank y'all.
Thank you.